Reimagining Success, episode 92. You're listening to Reimagining Success, the podcast where we help you reimagine your future, designing a life and career beyond the 9-to-5 that allows you the freedom, flexibility and fulfillment that you've been dreaming of. I'm your host, Anna Lundberg. Now, let's get started on those dreams. Hello there, welcome back, and I hope you're well, especially because that is what we're talking about today. We're talking about taking care of yourself, taking care of you, self-care, hashtag self-care, that very important trending hashtag on Instagram, and why taking care of you is taking care of your business. Now, we've been looking over the last few weeks at work-life integration, how to make your business work for you around your life and so on. We talked about why I think there's no such thing as work-life balance. You don't have to work this artificial construct of 9-to-5. And last week, why working harder definitely is not the answer. We talked about that cliche, I guess, working smarter rather than harder. And again, I want to continue on this to look at why it's not just a question of not working harder, but why actually, in a positive sense, affirmatively, we need to take care of ourselves. And that is, again, taking care of our business. So why is that the case? Hopefully, I don't need to persuade you, but I'm going to perhaps state the obvious nonetheless, because I think it's important for us all, me included, myself included, to remind ourselves of this, both theoretically from a mindset perspective, but also then to take specific actions. And it's something we need to remind ourselves from time to time, again and again. It's not just a one-off. So first of all, from a business perspective, as I said, it is important from the perspective of success, profit, results. So whether you are a CEO of a large company, a managing director, whatever, or you're a solopreneur, a freelancer, a company of one, it is absolutely vital to take care of yourself so that you can take care of your business. As a CEO, as a manager, director, you're there giving direction, strategy, manage your employees, of course. So that's an obvious reason why you need to be well. But more than that, you're a role model for your employees. You're setting the tone. So if you're there every evening late in the night doing your emails, and if you're stressed and angry at people and so on, that's the tone that you're setting for the culture of the entire organization. And I don't know about you, but I don't think that's a good thing. So if you're paying lip service to the fact that your employees should be working from home sometimes and should be taking care of their mental health, should be taking care of their well-being and work-life balance and all these catchy phrases we all use in the corporate world, then you need to make sure that you're seen to be doing that. So you can't be then seen to be sending emails at the weekends and staying late in the office on Friday night and so on. So you're a role model for employees. Just as an aside, I remember, and apologies for stating this example, but I'm sure my parents aren't listening, so it should be okay. My mum's told me, in fact, of a case when my dad, as CEO of a company many years, if not decades ago, was unwell. And he had this really important international conference he had to lead for the business. And of course, he travelled internationally, I think, and apologies if I'm bastardizing the story as well, but the point remains. So travelled, got there, had an incredibly high fever, ended up being ill for many weeks, missed not just that meeting, but weeks of important work and meetings and so on, right? And of course, the company survived. Now, of course, that was an important meeting. Of course, it was important that he was there, but in sacrificing his health, thinking he's so important for this one meeting, unfortunately, that then compromised and created an even worse effect. So it's an important point to make that we need to catch, I guess, a stitch in time saves nine, as we say in English. Love those idiomatic expressions. So, catching a little bit of physical poor health or mental or stress is going to really save you in the long term. So if you're a CEO for a big company, first of all, they're relying on you from the work perspective, and that's obvious. But secondly, again, you are a role model for employees. You're setting the tone. More likely, if you're listening to this, you're probably a solopreneur, a freelancer, a company of one, or a small business owner, in which case you are your business. So, of course, and I don't need you don't need me to tell you this, you don't need me to tell you this. You are so important to your business. If you're just starting out, perhaps you only have one type of service. You're trading your time for money and you are your business. You're the one delivering the service, whatever that is, design or copy or coaching, you are the entirety of the business model. And so, of course, if you're not well, if you, like my dad, then have to take a month or more off, that is a massive problem for your business. So again, purely from the sort of profit-driven productivity and financial success perspective, it's absolutely critical that you take care of yourself. So even if you only care about money and profit, which let's face it, many companies do, then you need to take care of yourself, number one. Now, number two, it's not just, of course, about business, and we're talking work-life integration here. So we're also talking about the impact this may have on your family, on your personal life. And so we're not just talking about taking care of your business here, but actually taking care of the other people and things and activities that matter in your life. There's this expression, which I'm sure I've used before, but coming from air flight hostesses, stewardesses, not stewardesses, that's sexist. Flight stewards, it's been so long since I was on a plane, thanks to COVID, I can't remember what it's called. The people who work on planes say to you, put your oxygen mask on first before you help others with theirs, right? So the idea is that if you are lying there dead with no oxygen, you're not going to be able to help your children or your partner or other people who need you, right? So, okay, not a very nice example, and I'm saying it a bit sort of tongue in cheek, but you see the really important point there. If your family is relying on you, as your employees are maybe in a bigger company, then yes, you might think you're so important in that ecosystem, I guess, that you can't possibly take a break. But remember, again, the example, if you don't take a break now, if you don't take care of yourself, ask for help, go to the doctor even maybe now, then, or slow down, just think of the impact if you really get unwell physically or mentally and you have to not take care of your family for weeks or months, So you have to think, okay, better to take little steps here and there to take care of yourself in order to make this sustainable. And then finally, we've talked about business, we've talked about family and hobbies and so on. For you, for your own sake, for goodness sake. This is the whole point of designing a business, escaping the 9 to 5. You want to be enjoying your life, enjoying your business. That's what it's all about. Hey, so why on earth would we be pushing ourselves to the point of burnout? And yes, again, I talked last week about this myth, I think, that, we love our business so much that it doesn't matter if we work all the time. Again, remember, even from a productivity and financials perspective, that's not the case, because if we are working all the time, and I'll talk about this in a moment, we'll make mistakes, we're going to feel unwell, and potentially we could really have to take a long break later. But again, for your sake, you want to be taking care of yourself so that you have time for your family, friends, activities, so that you can enjoy life, so you're enjoying your business. So hopefully that's sort of given you a few different reasons why it's so important to take care of yourself, and in so doing, taking care of your business and your important people in your life, and also your own satisfaction, really, your own life purpose. So what happens if you don't take care of yourself? Well, best case scenario, you have a lousy time working on your business. You're stressed all the time. You're constantly running to catch up. You have that busyness syndrome. And sort of that's the best case. You're just that kind of person who's frazzled all the time. Oh, I've got so much, I can't do that. You have to say no to things and you're just sort of running around like a maniac. I think that's the best case scenario. Then there are different levels. So as I said, you might make mistakes because you're not in a good place. If you haven't been sleeping, you might actually make some costly mistakes in your business, which can lose you clients, can lose you money, and that's not great either, or can cause tensions with employees, colleagues, whatever. You might have physical symptoms. So I talk often about migraines, maybe back pain from sitting hunched over the desk too much at your computer all the time, cramps in your hands. Maybe you get problems there. It's not to be taken lightly. Some people get stomach issues when they're stressed. There are physical manifestations of stress, so that could be the next level. There are also emotional symptoms to stress. So you might get angry at your colleagues and clients, God forbid, right? And you might get angry at family members. That might impact, and your relationship with your partner might suffer. Ultimately, again, you might actually burn out, so you'll be forced to take time off. So, from a scale of, okay, you're just not enjoying yourself so much and you're stressed and frazzled all the time, right up to, hey, you have a complete breakdown and you have to take a break, and that can have serious consequences. You may lose your business, you may lose your relationship, I don't know, so let's take it to the extreme. And then, of course, remember, why on earth are you in this business at all, right? So again, if you don't take care of this, why bother? Why go through all this rigmarole of designing a business that's going to work for you? Okay, so enough with the cynicism, enough with the negativity. Let's talk about how you can take care of yourself. So I often talk about, you may have heard me talk about physical, mental, emotional, spiritual well-being. And I designed this sort of well-being strategy a few years ago, in which I talked about body, head, heart, mind, spirit. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, and I'll talk about it in a moment, do let me know. You can get me at podcast@onestepoutside.com, podcast@onestepoutside.com. It's not something I publicize anymore, so I'm not pushing it as a lead magnet, but I'd be happy to send it over to you. It's just a simple PDF, as many of my resources are, and it takes you through those 5 levels. So think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So at the base, I have sort of the body. That's the basic level of nutrition and drinking lots of water, getting exercise, being strong and healthy, getting enough sleep. That's absolutely critical. So that's the basic, right? That's probably what we think about when we think of taking care of ourselves. Oh yeah, I need to go to the gym more, need to eat a bit less, and so on, right? So that's body. Then we've got head, which is the mental well-being. And that's, for me, around taking regular breaks, getting fresh air, being out in nature, working on your mindset, having someone to speak to, maybe managing stress levels with things like meditation, yoga, regular breaks, exercise, whatever. So that's really the mental health and well-being, the head. Then we have heart, because again, there's an emotional dimension here. So that's around your relationships with colleagues and peers and your boss, and hopefully if you're your own boss, with people who you work with, and again, family and friends and so on. It's about joyfully experiencing life. It's about loving yourself as well, maybe belonging in the community, So that's really heart and relationships. Then there's mind, which is a higher level than just head. So it's not just mental, but that's around creativity and learning, having the right mentors and coaches to challenge you and support you. Reading, also reading novels, right? So reading, fiction rather than non-fiction. I'm bad at that. I tend to read a lot of business books, but just reading for the enjoyment as well, to inspire you. Journaling, maybe that's something that I have a few clients who like to do, and building your confidence. And then finally, soul, which is a little bit difficult to put my finger on, but there's something extra. There's something around the meaning, your bigger purpose, fulfillment. So that's sort of that higher echelon of self-actualization, as Maslow would have called it. So body, head, heart, mind, soul. But it's just to demonstrate to you that there's a lot more to be done than just, the corporate company approach of giving you a training around eating more peanut butter and taking walks now and then, right? So it's not just about going to the gym a bit and eating better. It's around your mental well-being as well, around, again, your relationships, emotional support, higher levels of sort of learning, creativity, mindset, purpose as well. And that's also important for taking care of you. So a little episode on an important point. Taking care of you is taking care of your business. Remember that it's the case whether you're part of a massive company and lots of people are looking to you, or it's just you. Maybe it seems like, especially when it's just you, in fact, you are your business. So taking care of you is literally taking care of your business. Maybe you don't have the health insurance and benefits and so on. You certainly don't have the, replacements and so on who can take over your business if you aren't able to continue. So important to take care of yourself for the sake of the business, but also for the sake of your family, your loved ones, people, and activities, again, that you enjoy. And finally, for your own sake as well. This is the whole point for me of designing this business, of designing this work-life integration that works for you. Is to make sure that you're in control of your own time. You have that autonomy, the freedom, the flexibility. And again, you're taking care of yourself so that you can make a massive impact with your business, with your clients, and also have a good time in the business and have time and energy left over alongside that for all the other things you want to do in your life. So I hope, in case you needed convincing, I hope I've convinced you. I hope this has given you something to think about. And again, if you have any thoughts on this or questions, or if you want to grab that wellbeing strategy PDF, then you can get me as ever at podcast@onestepoutside.com. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye for now. If you are running a successful business with a steady stream of clients and income, but you're finding yourself stressed, torn between your work and your personal life and at risk of burnout, then now is the time to make some changes. It is absolutely possible to have a thriving business and also have time for everything else and everyone else that matters in your life. Get in touch to book a free consultation call to discuss how we can work together to reshape your business so that your business fits around those priorities rather than the other way around. You can book that call at onestepoutside.com/free consultation. That's onestepoutside.com/free consultation.